What if I told you that one man in Hollywood quietly protected a teenage girl for almost 40 years? Would you believe me? Or would you think that is impossible in an industry famous for destroying young stars? Because Christina Applegate just revealed something that is going to change how you see Hollywood forever. And this has nothing to do with scandal. Nothing to do with dark secrets. This is about something way more powerful. Genuine human goodness in a place where that almost never exists. Before your brain jumps to conclusions, let me be clear. This is not romantic. This is not inappropriate. What Ed O'Neill did for 15-year-old Christina Applegate was be the father figure she desperately needed. And he never stopped. Not when the show ended. Not even now, as she battles multiple sclerosis. If you stay until the end, I will show you the 2023 Emmy moment that made everyone cry. A standing ovation that lasted nearly a full minute. What Christina said during that moment will hit you harder than you expect. Trust me on this. So have you ever had someone protect you when you could not protect yourself? Someone who stayed by your side for decades? If you have, you know how rare that is. If you have not, this story will show you exactly what real protection looks like. Let me take you back to 1987. A 15-year-old Christina Applegate is cast and married with children. This was not a normal family sitcom. It was provocative, controversial. It pushed every boundary on television. And Christina was playing Kelly Bundy, a character written as a teenage sex symbol. Suggestive jokes, revealing outfits, all played by a 15-year-old girl on national TV. This was the 1980s. The rules were different. Or honestly, there were barely any rules. Other child stars from that era have talked about what they faced. Inappropriate comments, unwanted attention, adults who should have protected them but did not. Christina was walking into that exact same danger. Ed O'Neill was 41 when the show started. This was his first big break after years of struggle. He was playing Al Bundy, the father. And when he met Christina, he made a choice that changed both their lives. He decided this girl was not going to be hurt on his watch. Nobody asked him to do this. He just decided it was right. Let me show you what that actually looked like. These are not vague statements. These are concrete actions that crew members witnessed and Christina confirmed. Ed positioned himself near Christina during adult scenes. A constant protective presence. He redirected inappropriate conversations immediately. Changed the subject when things got too adult around her. He checked on her between takes. Made sure she was comfortable with what they were filming. After late night shoots, he drove her home himself instead of letting a 15-year-old travel alone. He called her mother regularly to reassure her that Christina was being looked after. But here is the most powerful part. Ed stood up to producers when they wanted to push Christina into uncomfortable situations. Think about that. Ed had finally gotten his big break at 41. He could have been fired, labeled difficult, lost everything. But he put a teenager's safety above his own career. That is not just being nice. That is courage. Christina has said in interviews that Ed shielded her from certain conversations, that he made sure the environment stayed professional even when the show pushed boundaries. She always emphasizes this was not his job. This was Ed O'Neill choosing to be genuinely good. But Ed did not just protect Christina. He invested in her future. He taught her improvisation techniques from his theater background. He would throw curveballs during scenes to help her learn authenticity. He taught her about Hollywood politics, how to handle fame, how to set boundaries. He was preparing her for a lifelong career, not just getting through episodes. Over 11 seasons, Christina grew from 15 to 26. Those years when you become who you are. And she had Ed as a steady presence. Their relationship evolved naturally. She went from student to confident performer to creative equal. And Ed watched with the pride of a father seeing his daughter succeed. Then, in 1989, disaster struck. A boycott campaign threatened to cancel the show. Major advertisers pulled out. The network considered ending everything. 17-year-old Christina faced losing her entire career. Ed personally calmed the younger cast members, gave interviews defending not just the show, but the young people on it. He showed Christina how to face crisis with grace. The boycott ultimately backfired and ratings exploded. But what Christina remembers most is Ed standing steady when everyone panicked. When Married with Children ended in 1997, there was no finale. No goodbye. The show just stopped. After 11 years of daily work together, the family scattered. But here is what proves this was real. Ed and Christina never actually separated. They stayed connected, called each other, met for meals. Ed checked on her career. The TV father-daughter relationship had become genuinely real. Christina went on to huge success in films and TV shows. Ed starred in Modern Family. Both found new heights in their careers. But through it all, they maintained their bond. Decades passed, and the connection never faded. Then, on August 10, 2021, Christina announced her multiple sclerosis diagnosis. MS affects your nervous system, your movement, your balance, your thinking. There is no cure. Christina now uses a cane. She has talked openly about the challenges, about the grief for the life she thought she would have. She chose to be public about this to help others facing the disease. When Ed found out, he did exactly what you would expect from someone who protected her for 37 years. He reached out immediately, made sure she knew he was there. The entire cast rallied around her, but Ed's support meant the most. After all these years, he was still protecting her. The diagnosis raised questions about a reunion. Traditional production demands seemed impossible now. But Ed and the cast made their position crystal clear. Any reunion happens on Christina's terms or not at all. They will not do it without her, will not replace her. The Bundy family is not complete without Kelly. Period. Now here are the two moments I promised you. In November 2022, Christina received her Hollywood Walk of Fame star, her first major public appearance since the diagnosis. She showed up with her cane, surrounded by love. She spoke about the people who showed up when things got hard, about Married with Children, about the bonds that shaped her. Her voice broke, but she kept going. Then came the Emmys in January 2023. Christina walked on stage with her cane, and every single person stood up. The ovation lasted almost a full minute. Christina stood there crying as applause washed over her. Then she used humor like she always does. She joked that they were shaking her brain. Everyone laughed through tears. She was heartbreaking and hilarious at the same time. What happened after the cameras stopped matters too. Ed made sure Christina knew she was loved. Their private exchanges reflected the same dynamic from when she was 15. Still checking on her, still protecting her. 37 years later, nothing had changed. So why does this matter? Because this is not really about celebrities. This is about what happens when someone with power makes a different choice. How many of us had someone protect us when we were vulnerable, who invested in us for nothing in return, who stayed consistent for decades? If you had that person, you know how rare it is. If you did not, maybe this story shows what you can be for someone else. Yes, it is sad that this is remarkable. Protecting young people should be normal. But instead of just being sad, what if we demanded better? What if Ed O'Neill became the standard, not the exception? Christina is still fighting MS every day. Ed is still checking on her. The bond from 1987 is still strong in 2025. They are not doing press tours or writing books. They are just living it, quietly, consistently, the way real relationships work. When Christina walked onto that set at 15, she could not have known her TV dad would become one of the most important people in her life. Almost 40 years later, he is still there, still protecting her. Some bonds are truly unbreakable. I kept waiting to tell you the dark twist, the scandal. It never came. Because sometimes people are just genuinely good. Maybe that is the most radical part. Not that it happened, but that we find it so hard to believe. So who was your Ed O'Neill? Who protected you? Or who can you be that person for? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And be kind to each other. Because that is what this story is about. Kindness, protection, loyalty, love. The things that actually matter. Thanks for watching.